Okay, people, today let's take a quick look at the LooseCollector Rob Liefeld Extreme Universe Bloodwulf and Bloodstrike Cabbot Stone. Now, I do not know these specific characters, but man, do they have a feel to them. These are undeniably 90s, so much so that I was fighting the urge to go grab my flannel and combat boots and chain wallet and relive my glory days. Whew. Oh, you think I'm joking? Look at these proportions. Look at that hair. Look at that hair. Pointy face paint. Buckle, 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 buckle. I've destroyed the word buckle. I can't even hardly say it. Buckle, 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 buckle. Pouch, 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 pouch. I probably missed one or two, but I count 33 buckles and 44 pouches. If that is not 90s enough for you, I don't know what to tell you. No packaging because I think these were just test samples from the factory, but I'm going to start with Cabbot because he seems the most familiar. Come on, he looks like he's about to drop out of the time stream and form some kind of team that starts with X. And I'm going to say it several times during this review, 90s. This just captures that era, that style so perfectly. You have your muscle striations and veiny looks and the gear that doesn't seem like it would actually work. I've got all the supplies. But you know what? It works. It makes him feel even tougher because he's just lugging all this shit around. Makes no sense whatsoever to have 3 leather straps with buckles over here on the left arm and then the right has whatever this is supposed to be. Gratuitous design element. It's the same for this buckle. How does this work? At least they match the knee pads with the golds and the reds. There's also these circles running up and down the boots, and I did not count those as buckles. I think of those as buttons, I guess, maybe. It's still a pile of leather straps coming down to the boot, and then you have your steel toe literally on the outside with this nice shiny chromy silver. And you know me, I love these little buttons punched in with a little metallic paint here on the holster and back here on the sheath and then on the pouches and coming around and the buckles, but not right here on these buckles for some reason. It almost feels like, good grief, we got all the rest of these. Are there any more? Nope, don't see any. There's also these buckles on the back of the vest that weren't painted. And I was about to say, well, the guns mount there. Maybe they didn't do that to save a little bit of the budget, but over on Bloodwulf, they painted those buckles that hide under the guns. Maybe they took that part and added this purple color with the gold stripe running down the middle. A color that does not appear anywhere else in this color scheme. And it's not just painted purple, it is shaded too. Oh man, that looks so good. They also bring in a little bit of green for these arm straps with the pouches and this ammo on the front of the vest. Another oddball color that only appears once right here on this light, this phone, this light blue is the only place I can find that. A big, huge, honkin' clasp to hold all this together. Got some gold tubes on the other side, and there's 2 shades of brown. There's a light brown for the under gear, or the padding parts, and then there's a darker brown for the vest itself. And that dark brown matches everything else. The light brown kind of matches the pants underneath. Then there's the head, and look at that grim bastard. Just, I don't know his attitude because I don't know the character, but just going by this, yeah, he's kind of no nonsense, I'm thinking. Very nice 90s type sculpt with the scowl and the red design around the eyes. No pupils, whited out attitude. I like the gold clasp in the hair that kind of cuts into the bright white of the hair and the ponytail, but even that has a gray wash to it. Just helps bring out some of that detail that could be lost because of the color. Which, if I may say so myself, is a beautiful transition, a beautiful segue into Bloodwulf because his body is that same white color with a gray wash. There's a hair texture all over the arms that works itself up to the head too. At first you think, well, it's just the orange that is hair up here, but no. I think around that red design work is some fur sculpt. But not here on the torso. We'll get to that. We'll talk about the reuse, which is not as much as you would think. There is a familiarity to Bloodwulf too. He may ride around on a motorcycle in space with a dog and fight Superman every now and then. I don't know. But even though there's the obligatory 90s design to it, it seems a bit more toned down than Cabbot. He's not lugging around near as much gear, but he's got buckles for days coming up and down the legs with the straps there, and even the holes. Maybe he wants to tighten them up a little bit for some heavy riding, some heavy ass kicking. Same steel toe look, there's some shiny chrome, but this time it ties into some other costume elements like the knee pads that look very worn. These have met some skulls. There's also the silver buckle in the middle. Change the style of the buckles on all of these pouches. I mean, all of these pouches have this gold strap looking thing coming down over them. Again, the gold buttons on the sheath and these buckles on the back that we looked at a minute ago. Then he has all this ammo going over the shoulders, and each one has gold paint on the ends. It makes it very defined. The green and the brown works really well for the vest because it stands out against this kind of, is that a dark brown? And then the red of the pants. It's kind of Christmassy now that I think about it. But it's a nice contrast to the white of the arms and the head. Speaking of that, he's got an angry look to him. He's fierce. He's feral. Some more red face paint. The whited out eyes with some shading around them makes them stand out a bit. And again, a gray wash to the fur of the face. But this time we have pointy ears sticking up and then the orange hair. And it's a couple shades of orange. Here on the sideburns, it just has a dark wash to it. And that wash continues up here, but you can see the gradient, the fade, and that is awesome. That hair makes no sense whatsoever, but because we are all comic book fans, we're all toy fans, some of us lived through the 90s, and it's par for the course. It doesn't seem out of place. Yeah, you don't see it a lot, but it still totally works. I can't help it. I love it. Now, it may seem like I'm ragging on these, that I'm hacking on them, that I'm giving them a hard time because of the buckles and the pouches and the 90s aesthetic. And yeah, I don't know these characters, but man, did I hang out in a lot of comic shops that had a lot of posters, a lot of comic covers that looked just like this. And it's just a nice nostalgic callback. I may be more of an 80s guy when it comes to the properties I love, but there's also a soft spot for the 90s. Now, going back to why Bloodwulf doesn't have a fur sculpt on the chest and the shirt's just painted on, that's because they share a torso, a crotch, and the upper legs. And honestly, I do believe that's it. The upper boots are obviously different, so I thought maybe the feet were shared, but nope. Cabbots have those lines in them. Bloodwulf's is smooth. The arms, pretty obvious. Bloodwulf has fur on them, and Cabbot may have a little bit more bulk. Those are not the same heads. A lot of companies would have reused the hands, just painted Bloodwulf's brown for glove or Cabbot's white for skin tone, but no, same pose, different sculpts. There's fingernails on Bloodwulf, and there's a leather wrinkly look for Cabbot. And that's going to make me go out of order and jump into accessories. See, Bloodwulf has the palm of the hand and fingernails with a slight point to them. Same pose for Cabbot, but no fingernails, there's wrinkles, it looks like a glove. So both have some splayed out hands, some relaxed hands, some trigger finger hands, and some regular gripping hands for knives and whatever else. They both come with a pair of smaller rifles. Cabbot's this is some kind of gun. Again, it was the 90s. It wasn't meant to be functional. It was just meant to look cool. It does have this gold punched in on the sides, on both sides, and then a silver dry brush to the whole thing. Same for Bloodwulf's rifles. That silver dry brush brings out a lot of the detail, and then these gold little circles. The hands pop off a peg that stays in the wrist, and when you do that, you can pull off this thing, and I wonder if the other one, does it do the... Yeah, that comes off too. And then these are overlays too. So you can take off some of this stuff if you want, but why would you want to? That's part of their design. That's part of their character. The hands have a little softness to them to pop right on. I like that. That also means the fingers flex pretty easy to get up and out of the way, push and twist, boom. Literally. Boom. And it's the same with Bloodwulf. If you want to take the bracers off, you can take those off, and then the straps are separate pieces, and really the vest and the... But again, why would you want to? I'm always ready for war. Peg holes in the side, so if you want to add to the overall look, you can take these and peg them right here. Are they meant to go this way or the other way? You can pick whichever side you want. There's peg holes on both sides, but it seems like they fit a little better than that. The handles aren't touching tips. It doesn't work quite as well on Cabbot because of the ponytail, but you can work around it. Just have them looking down slightly. And then, of course, they both have BFGs. Bloodwulf has the green one with the silver dry brush and the gold accents, the scope, And, oh, okay, several barrels. Then Cabbot has the gunmetal one, silver dry brush, gold accents. And are these flashlights on the side? He's doing a lot of night hunting. Okay, it is not going to be possible for him to shoulder the rifle. There's just too much going on. But even under the arm, he can't reach over. But he can tough guy it and do it one-armed. What about you, Bloodwulf? You have less gear and there's less gun to the back. It's a little rough. This isn't shouldered, but he can kind of get in that position. They are just too... But again, the big guns also have pegs on the sides, so you can do this. Maybe this will work better this way. How about we do this? Strap it on like that. The hair goes to that side, kind of rolls with the gun. That works better. Each figure comes with a knife. Cabbot has this, I don't want to say basic blade, but it's got a point, it's got an edge, it's got another edge, a little serration here, and a grip. But Bloodwulf has this nasty thing with the big old teeth on the back and that war-torn look like his knee pads. The figures can obviously hold them. They have grip hands. There's also sheaths on the back to hold them. Then you can also do a bayonet situation with that loop right there that holds the knife, and it makes it even bigger. These are hollow, so they're not heavy pieces of plastic. There's a lightness to them, but man, just the sheer size is crazy. Why no, I'm not overcompensating. And it's the same thing here, just bam, bam. Then Cabbot also comes with this pistol, which kind of offsets things in the weapon count department, but he does have this holster off to the side to just throw it in there as another part of the overall look. He also has this gritting teeth, furrowed brow, alternate head. And it's just the face. I think it's the same hair sculpt and same ponytail. I haven't actually tried, oh, the whole neck piece comes out. That's interesting. But that also comes off there, back on there, not a problem whatsoever. And there's even angrier Cabbot. Is he gonna do it every time? Yeah, probably. To make Bloodwulf even more fierce, there's an alternate head with an open mouth, so you can see the tongue and the fangs and everything. Same thing here. Oh, no, that one pops at the top. I'm not a big open mouth guy, but there's fangs, so it makes it more interesting. For articulation, yes, they only share certain parts, but it seems like the basic shapes are the same on both. So I'm going to go over Bloodwulf because he has less stuff in the way. We can get full range, and then we'll come back to Cabbot and see if this hinders. There's a dumbbell at the top of the neck with a ball joint going down into the body. Notice this high collar, and there may be a little hair in the way, but still can look up to here and then down. So much tilt. Has anybody seen any guns around here? At first I thought it was a butterfly joint at the shoulder, but it's a dumbbell with a cap to cover the gap. You can shift forward and back and up and down. And I really like the up and down because it brings the shoulders up to a squared off position. Pin coming out allows the arm to rotate all the way around, and then a hinge right there comes to almost 90. Swivel at the bicep. Double elbow comes up to there, which isn't bad for a muscle type character. And I forgot to point out pinless. Swivel hinge swivel at the wrist so they turn, and then you can hinge this way, or you can get that hinge to turn, go in and out, whichever direction you want to go. Dumbbell joint mid-torso with a ball down at the waist, crunches over about right there, arcs back, tilt, rotation. Ball coming out to the hip, kicks forward, kicks back, not as much, and then out. Oh, look at that. Thigh swivel sculpted kind of the shape of the leg, rotates. Double knee, again, pinless, kicks up to about right there. Swivel at the boot. Hinge at the ankle, kicks back, kicks forward, and then front-facing pin for rocker. For Cabbot, again, high collar on the vest. There's a ponytail that kind of runs into it. Can still look up to about right there and then down. The vest obviously gets in the way of rotation, but it is kind of soft, and it doesn't really kick the arm out that much to come around. This doesn't really get in the way because it's split at the bottom. It's only latched up here, so all around. No pouches on the back actually allows the knee to kick up a little bit more. Just realized you can take these pouches too and put them right around the swivel at the bicep to hide that. Nifty, and it keeps it from sliding down as much. Ooh, what about elbow range now that those are up and out of the way? About the same. Size-wise, both figures stand at about 7 1/8 inches tall to the top of their skulls. Cabbot stands at about 7 3/4 to the top of his ponytail, and then Bloodwulf stands at 8 1/2 to the top of his hair. And then this seems like the only appropriate comparison that we really need. Here is the Marvel Legends Cable and Deadpool. Cable has a custom casting cave head, and the Deadpool is from the Hydra Bob 2-pack. Cable looks eye to eye with Bloodwulf and Cabbot, so I mean, if you want to throw these into a Marvel Legends display, then nobody's stopping you. And if you want to spruce up Cable with some guns from these guys, that works too. But you're going to run into the same problem with the big guns. So at the end of the day, about as posable as you would expect with characters with this much bulk and junk on them. Hey, I say that in a loving way. I really, really do. All this may have been as I was getting out of comics, slowly but surely, but still, all this is burned in my brain. This is 90s excess in plastic form. Again, the weapons, the hair, the face paints, the ammo, the buckles, the pouches, even if you had no clue who these characters were, no history, no title, no nothing, you would still be able to go, oh, those are from the 90s. They capture that moment in time, that era. Just, it's hard to explain, but it's also easy. 90s. That's all you need to know.